Welcome back to the Football Terror. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing right now. Let's jump straight into this because the knives are out. They're in attack. And I knew this was coming. It was always there. Take a listen.
For your new club, you could be a hero even before you get on a plane to Manchester. Has that crossed your mind? In English, please.
Firstly, they're trying to set this whole thing up. You could be a hero in Manchester if you beat Manchester City tonight as the sporting manager. Equally, if he loses quite heavily, which is conceivable because this City team is the best in the world, it will be twisted in the other direction. Do not be fooled by it, Man United fans.
Sorry, I cannot speak in English now.
Why?
Why? He's asking the man why.
Nice.
Why?
Sorry. They will miss me in Portuguese, so I have to speak Portuguese.
They've had about 25 minutes in Portuguese.
I know.
We want 10 seconds in English.
The audacity, the absolute audacity of Gary, is it Gary Cotterill, I think is his name? The audacity to say that. He's the current manager of a Portuguese team where the predominant amount of their supporters are Portuguese. And he's going to answer in Portuguese. He's being instructed to as well by his current employers to answer in Portuguese. These British journalists, they honestly are an embarrassment to this nation.
We'll proceed in Portuguese. Next week, you can hear him talking English. Okay.
Yes. More basic English.
It's like a cold shoulder to all your English fans.
It's not like the cold shoulder. It's a cold shoulder to you. Man United fans are not bothered. Man United fans, we've listened to him talk about Man United in an interview with TNT Sport. He's doing little bits, but he's respecting his current club. It is absolutely garbage from the mainstream media. On top of that, there's lots of other stories that are now running, which, in my personal opinion, were always going to happen. Were always going to happen with the new manager coming in. Former Man United boss Erik ten Hag did not want to sign Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna in the summer and was reportedly frustrated about him arriving at the club a stone overweight. Of course, the media rightfully criticizing Ten Hag for weeks and weeks and weeks. Now that he is gone, they need to keep the negativity train going. So they turn the attention away from Ten Hag being the issue and they focus on the ownership. They focus on the signings that haven't worked yet underneath that manager's tutelage and start to make it sound as though that things were forced upon the manager. That's what's going to happen now at Man United, by the way. Managers are not picking players. The club is. But they're twisting it. And they're trying to already plant the seed that, you know what? Maybe Ten Hag wasn't the problem. And we all know that he wasn't the overriding problem, the number one problem. But they're going to try and twist it very quickly, especially if Amorim doesn't start off electric. They're going to try and twist it into maybe the fans turned on the wrong person. Maybe the ownership don't know what they're doing. Oh, this is going to be a disaster as well. Negativity, never. Negativity. It's going to be there. There's this headline that's come out today that United have put back a final decision on the stadium development until next summer. United want to explore what is possible to maximize the area available to the club and are not expected to understand that fully until next spring. Of course, it's a fairly simplistic story, but it's being twisted and it's being pushed by the mainstream media that this is more about, oh, do you know what? They've kind of promised us a new stadium and redevelopment and investing money. They're delaying it. They're going to keep delaying it. They're not really going to invest. They're broke billionaires. They're bad owners. And as I've said, the fact that Ineos are getting more attention than the Glazers ever got, and they've been here less than a year, tells me they're doing the right thing. The mainstream media, as we've seen with Arsenal's growth as an example, are absolutely petrified that Man United could be on the right track here. Yes, we've hired new managers before, but never a head coach. We've had managers picking squads, building the club in their image for 11 years, and it's failed. We are now building the club in the image, the club structure in our own image, which a head coach comes into coach, train, and pick the first team, as do all the other successful teams currently in the world. But the mainstream media is ignoring this. By the way, that doesn't mean we won't sign some flops. It doesn't mean we won't sign some bad players. All the best clubs in the world have in the last 11 years, the previous 11 years, the previous 140 years. That's going to happen. Okay, but one or two bad signings does not mean awful ownership. That's not the way things work. But Man United fans, don't be dragged into this. Don't be dragged into this bile, this absolute nonsense, and this hatred that the media have towards Man United. They have a genuine hatred, and they also know that Man United negative stories sell. The amount of rival fans I've seen sharing the Xerxes news today, it's from the Sun. They slag the Sun off every day. The Sun newspaper is scum, but when they slag off Man United, we jump straight on that like a bitch in heat. It happens every single time. You've got journalists getting angry that a manager won't speak to them more in English as he's respecting his current fans. They are going to come for Amorim from the beginning. They're already in for Ineos, and you've got to ask yourselves why. They cared not about the appointment of managers when they should have been head coaches. They cared not about the club having no structure. They cared not about accountants and bankers and marketing experts running the football club for 11 years. They said almost nothing about the Glazers as a collective. Individuals did, but almost nothing as a collective about the Glazers for 20 odd years. Wake up and smell the coffee. Why do you think they're being so negative so quickly about the new owners, the new structure, and even the new head coach? Ask yourself the question as to why that might be the case.
Stop it. Get some help.
Unai Emery's doing at Villa should not be overlooked, because if you stick with that man, you look where he's got Villa.
Yeah,
Villa
man, he got them four. He got them four at the Spurner bow, bruv. That's where he got them. Four at the Spurner. People's hands with four fingers now, bro. Trust me, Villa, yeah, we're not going to do that, because last time we filmed, we put West Ham, you know, them were there on a T-shirt. We gave them four, took them to Asgard. You didn't want to talk about that. So now we have four again. We will talk about it, Jim. Yeah, Aston Villa were West Ham in disguise. Yeah, Aston victims, yeah? That's what happened.
Bro, look at Dimitar Berbatov. Berbatov, by the way, big up X, killing it here on TalkSport. Berbatov doesn't know what's going on. He has no idea what is going on whatsoever. And I mean that as a compliment to X. X he's probably thinking, what is this? Because the mainstream media doesn't do enough of this. It doesn't have enough authentic fan quality. And they've got it here in X. Brilliant.
I was like, Spurn about Dominant Solanke, Dominic Toretto, Fast and Furious, bro.
I'll be honest,
you know
I didn't think he was going to do it.
James Mazcoin, did you see that free kick? Bend it like Beckham. Brennan The Rock Johnson, the final boss. That's my guy. Yo, connect four like Hasbro.
Is he replacing
Four
Harry
man
Kane?
like George. You like
Solanke.
that one, bruv. We gave him with a George Foreman, bro. You know what I'm saying, bruv?
Timmy, jump in. What were you going to say? Tony, here's Timmy.
No, nobody can play Harry Kane.
We got Solanke instead, bruv.
Solanke is what I love about X. And I think that TalkSport have been very clever here. We know what TalkSport are up to. They're trying to take over the fan channel media spot. That's what they want to do. Fair play to them. But they're being smart. They've got one of the best, if not the best in the business, definitely the funniest guy in the business, in X in there. And it's just great. I'll be honest with you, it warms my heart a little bit. I've had a lot of time for X, known him a long time, always thought he was brilliant. And I felt that he never really got the attention and credit that he deserved, and he's right here. And look, he's having a little bit of fun with it. And he obviously knows that Aston Villa are a really good team, but he's proud of what his team went out there and did. Absolutely. So I saw this clip today and I wanted to share it. Go and watch X's show on TalkSport right now. It's on their YouTube channel. So it's very, very easy to go and find. But as I say, when it comes, I'm going to end it with where we started, really, and talk about the situation with Amorim and Ineos. I'm not saying you can't criticize things that Ineos have done or things that Amorim does when he comes in, or even signings that we've made. It's not what I'm saying. So if anybody leaves those comments, just delete them and do yourself a favor. Don't be so embarrassing. Focus on why there's so much negativity towards the club when it's making the fundamental changes that have been needed for over... Some changes have been needed for 20 years, but for the last 11 years, definitely. The level of negativity towards that change is ridiculous. one of the I said this when I was praising and Arsenal and defending Arsenal from bad punditry. Soon as Man United start to change, soon as Man United hopefully start to grow, you will see the same behavior, and it's already started like clockwork. Listen, do me a favor, hit the like and the share button. Make sure you are subscribing, and we will see you all again very, very soon. Peace.